Hello ladies and gentlemen, guys and gamer chicks. Welcome back to my channel, The Creative Gamer here, starting exactly where I left off, here to discuss fort building. So, while the game is still on paused, I'm gonna start building my fort. So, to do so, first of all, we want to go into the terrain menu, replace floor, see how much stone we currently have. Okay, we'll need to mine a bit more then, because 299 stone is not gonna cover much. So let's mine more of this pit out. There. Oh, and one thing to watch out for when you are mining big areas, the more you mine, the more, I have no idea why, but the more your FPS will lag. I think it's something to do with the amount of empty space which is in the world. Do not quote me on that though. So, now that's going to be mined out, we are going to see where we want the borders of our fort. Right, so stone floor, just a standard stone floor. So we want our entrance here. Well, I do anyway. So what I'm going to do then is I'm going to drag it all across here. That should be big enough for now. And down here. Oops. Right, so we want to extend that. Come here. Okay, there we go. There we go. Right, so now if I get rid of those strawberry plants, because they're going to be in the way. Bushes, plants, whatever you would like to call them. There we go. Right, now we can speed things up. So as you can see, our staircase is going to be within the fort. So imagine you're playing on anything but peaceful. So you're either playing on easy, normal or hard. It's going to be a lot safer to have your main complex inside your fort. So how are they doing with that distillery? Good. Right, so we've got enough food. There we go. Okay, right, I'm gonna pause the recording and I'll see you guys in a second. Right, I thought I'd come back quickly just to explain our current workshops. So they all do their specific things. So the distillery makes drinks, you're well aware of, but it doesn't just make wine. It makes beer, which requires grain, and also tea, which requires mushrooms. Now, mushrooms will only grow in underground farms. I do not know how to build an underground farm, so if you want to figure that one out, you'll have to watch a separate tutorial episode. Sorry about that one, guys. So next we have our stone cutter. Their job is just to cut stone blocks. And the stone mason will craft doors, tables, chairs, chisels, saw blades, knives, hearth, moulds, furnaces, troughs, swords, hand axe and hammer. The carpenter does roughly the same, but a lot more besides. beds, wood doors, sticks, tables, chairs, dressers, cabinets, crates, barrels, torches, workbenches, looms, hilts, hafts, bellows, training dummies, wheelbarrows, buckets and shields or wooden shields. And your sawmill only creates the planks. Now, I will be building a secondary sawmill in a minute, and the reason for that is so I can have someone crafting planks on repeat, and then, you know, they'll have a spare sawmill to work from if, you know, they need the extra manpower, basically. So I'll see you guys in a second. Right, so now our second distillery is being built. What we want to do now is we want to see what we have more of, grain or fruit. Fruit. So we want to craft the wine on repeat again. There we go. Now, one thing I didn't mention about your workshops is what I tend to do is I tend to have every single workshop on priority 3, just so that they'll do each thing evenly. So one thing you didn't see is that a yak has been born. So what we want to do now is we want to go ahead into the food and drink workshops, and we want to first build a butcher shop. There we go. And wait for them to build that. So they'll basically see certain jobs as more important than other jobs. So for example, currently, for some reason, it's got to be something to do with their coding. For some reason, they think that replacing floor is more important than working in the workshops. I do not know why. Who knows why gnomes do anything? Right, so let's see. Okay, good. We still got stuff there. Good. Right, so let me explain about the ores and gems to you quickly. So, orangey reddish brown ore is copper. This blue stuff, I think, is sapphire? Uncut sapphire, yeah, there you go. The black stuff is coal. Green is uncut emerald. Is that coal? Ooh. Yes, it is. Cool. Now, you also get other stuff like silver, tin, or tin. I think you have to craft silver yourself out of an alloy, or is that steel? I can't quite remember. But anyway, yeah, there we go. See, they've stopped working on the sawmill because they think the floor's more important. So let me just discuss my plans for this quickly. So what I'm going to do is, so my entrance is going to be on this side here. And what I'm going to do with my farms and pastures is I'm going to have it all fenced off, just so that it looks nice and everything else. And then later on down the line in this series, I might actually do some crazy stuff, as I forgot to explain to you in the first video. The idea I have for the fort is if anyone's read The Wheel of Time by Robert Jordan, amazing series. If you have not yet done so, do so now. It knocks Tolkien completely off the shelf, believe me. In one of his books, the first book called The Eye of the World, one of the main characters, Rand al'Thor, kind of like the chosen one, has this dream where he's being chased by the antagonist, the anti-hero, called the Dark One, in a dream. And now the Dark One is chasing him through an endless maze of towers and ramparts and everything else, which seemingly have no bottom. That is what my plan is. So this is going to be my main fort, and dotted all over the place I'm going to have towers in random places and walkways leading from each to each, and we're going to use the maximum height for this, which is 25. I don't think I'll dig too deeply with this, because as I explained earlier, apparently the more empty space the world has, the more your FPS will drop, so be wary about that. There we go. They've almost finished with the floor, so let's speed things up again. Right, what do you need? You need a table, a chair, and a knife. Okay, where can I make a knife? So we want to build a table. Table. There we go. Chair. There we go. And a knife. So the stone workshop for this. There we go. So the gnomes will return to their normal priorities after the floor has been completed, by the way. I hope, otherwise the game is bugged. So let me see, when did I first start playing this game? Well, on my other Steam account, which I've abandoned for now, I started playing Gnomoria back in 2012, I think, when it was pre-alpha, and it was an amazing game. It still is an amazing game. I don't know if Rob is still updating the game, but it is considered finished. But as you see, I have noticed a couple of bugs myself. Even though this is supposed to be the full game, I'm not making any negative comment with that, because I know some games developers release the full game as version 1, and they're like, hey, there's still bugs in this game, so then you get version 2 and so on and so on. I hope Rob will do that. It's up to him whether he does or not. Fair play to him if he does, fair enough if he doesn't. You know, it's considered complete at the moment anyway. So right, so what shall I talk about next? Okay, right, for those of you guys who prefer action rather than creativity, let's have a look at the building menu again. Okay, so right, let's go to the workshops. So wood, stone. So you got your cloth makers like your loom and your tailor. They will create things such as your mattresses and your bandages. Now, we don't need to make any bandages in this version because we're playing on peaceful, but they will keep your army stocked with bandages as long as you tell them to do so. Gems can be cut and then turned into jewels. They don't do anything, they're just to sell or trade with the merchant. Then you have your metal workshops, which we will need to be building ourselves anyway for those extra miners and woodcutters, etc, etc. But you can build your workshops like your armor smith, your weaponsmith and stuff like that. And now, if you're also not playing on peaceful, mechanisms is where the real fun starts, because you have your tinker's bench. That is, I think, if memory serves correctly, your researcher's bench. So they will research more parts and gears and traps and everything else. So your machine shop will, I believe, create your stuff like your gears, your levers, your pulley systems, and then your engineer shop will create your items such as traps, water pumps, stuff like that, I think. So yeah, there we go. So the floor's almost completed now, and once they've done this, I'll start building the walls. Right, so that's finished. And now they've built our butchers. Now what we want to do here is clean the floor on that, because currently a red floor means, unless it's suspended, means that a workshop has reached its capacity. So now that we've got our butcher, we now want to build our kitchen. So workshop, food and drink, kitchen. There we go. And they'll get to that any second, which they are doing so now. So what we want to do now is we want to pause the game. We don't have to, this is just easier to get our layout planned and everything else. So what we want to do, we want to go into the build menu and then terrain, and then we want to go to wall. Now it's your choice whichever wall you want. So do we want a block wall, a log wall, a stone wall? Okay, we need more stone now, so forget that for a minute. Okay, time to mine some more lovely rocks and stuff. There we go. Oh, and do not worry about digging over your stairs. Your stairs and stuff like that will always be marked undiggable. So don't worry anything about that. There we go. That should be enough for now. Okay, let's just even it up a bit. I hate uneven things. There we go. Right, so now we go back up top. There we go. And we want to mark out our wall. So terrain, oh come on. Terrain, wall. Scaffolding I'll discuss in a little while. Now, Currently, for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm only going to build a basic stone wall. The reason being is it only costs 1 raw stone each, whereas a block wall or a decorative wall will cost 4 stone blocks each. So, we're looking for practicality at the moment, not eye candy. So we want to drag a single wall on each of the 4 sides. There we go. But how are they going to get in, you're going to ask? Well, let's go into job, cancel, and make a double entrance like most castles have. There we go, that's about even, I think. Doesn't really matter. Right, so there we go, unpause the game, and they'll get to doing that. Right, so I'm going to pause the game and I'll see you in a minute when I'm able to build the second layer. Oh, I just decided to come back quickly to explain the butchers to you. So, you go into the butchers and you'll have 2 options. The first option will always be corpses. Now, you can butcher any corpse at all, whether they be dead nomads, dead enemies, dead animals, whatever, or you can choose it to butcher something from any active pasture. So we have 2 males, 2 females, so we only need 1 female. So click on a female, click butcher, and there we go. They'll be taken to slaughter. There we go. Now they'll remain there until I tell the kitchen to make sausages and whatnot. Right, now our kitchen has been built. What we want to do is right click. Now we want to ignore the loaf of bread and sausage and just go to sandwich, craft, and put it on repeat. There we go. And they'll get to work. Now what we also want to build is a workshop, miscellaneous, and we need a bone carver so that we can build a bone needle for our tailor or loomist, whichever one. Now that means our wall has been completed. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to explain the Great Hall to you. So we want to designate area and we want to go to dining room. Now we can put this anywhere we want. So let's just say we'll have it there and there. That should be big enough for now. Then we want to click on it and migrate it into a great hall. There we go. Now what we want to do is to build the second layer. We either want to build a scaffold or a staircase. So if you want to build a staircase, you go into terrain, stairs up, stone stairs. Now we can put this anywhere we want. We'll put it there for now, and I'll build the scaffold at the same time to show you the difference between both. Scaffold, there we go. Oops, come on. There we go. And let's put it there. There There we go, so you can see a platform there now. So, let's get to building our floor. So, build, terrain, floor. And as we did previously, we would like a stone floor. So now we're on level 1. That's what we want to be on. Level 1. So we want to drag a floor over this area and unpause the game. So you can see it's automatically missed out the staircase. There we go. Now, are they going to use the staircase more than the scaffold? It doesn't really matter. But let me show you the difference. I mean, the difference is really obvious. But so let's cancel this area here. So they'll actually have to work on the scaffold. There we go. And they'll just use it like any other staircase. So let's go back to there and build the floor again there. That was just an example for you guys. There we go. Right, now we need to dig some more stone, I believe. Nope, they're fine for a little while. Right, as we've built or mined a massive square here, we'll just let that save. We want to dig another pair of stairs underneath these ones. Go. And pardon me, start mining out this layer. Oops. There we go. And they'll get to it as soon as they want to do so. Or in our actual fact, after they've completed the floor. So what we want to do is we would like to cancel that at the moment. And are they working on it now, actually? Yes, they are. Okay, good. We don't need to cancel it then. Right, so while they're doing that, I'll explain more about the Great Hall to you. Now, the Great Hall has a worth notification. Now, the main kingdom worth, or the majority of it, will come from your Great Hall. Now, the Great Hall's worth depends upon the items within the Great Hall. So, to increase the worth more and more, you need better quality tables, chairs, statues and pillars and torches. All the things which would generally be found in a great hall of a castle, basically. But if you are playing on anything but peaceful, I would really watch the value of your great hall. Because the more your total kingdom value is, the harder and harder the increasing waves of enemies will become. Now, the thing about Gnomoria is almost everyone expects Gnomoria to be a crafting / survival game, which is exactly what it is, with a difference. I say it's a difference, but that's just my opinion. The difference is, obviously, depending on your kingdom worth. Now, the waves of enemies, they'll come easy at first, depending on your settings, but each consecutive wave will get more and more and more and increase and increase and increase, with the main reasons of making the game more and more progressively difficult, which makes survival that much harder with each increasing wave. So, as I say, watch out for that. Right, there we go. So yeah, they will tend to use the stairs more than the scaffold, so let's remove the scaffold, as that was just an example I was using. And as I say, for some reason they consider making walls and floors more important than anything else. I cannot fathom the reason why that would be. So, okay, so our food supplies are looking good. Our drink supplies are increasing. Have they built the kitchen yet? Yes, they have, and they've done the sausages and the bread and everything else. Awesome. Right, so they're still going to be building the bone carver after I cancel all this for the time being. So there we go. Let's cancel you and you and you and wait, go away. And build me my bone carver now. Right, also what we would like to do at this point, because of they can't fit much more in our stockpile, we want to go to build storage, and we would like to build a couple of crates and barrels just to clear up the stockpile a bit. And we cannot build any more bags yet, not until we've built a Lumist and a tailor. There we go. Right, so our bone carver's done. We need a bone needle for the tailor or Lumist. There we go. Now after they've done this, I'll do a clean floor order and they'll put everything in the containers where they belong, which will clear up some floor space for us. Now I think I explained it in the previous episode, or did I? Well, I'll explain it in this one anyway. Now, your crafters will craft at varying speeds, with that speed dependent upon their individual skill. Now, the more they craft a specific item, the more efficient and speedy at crafting specific items they will become. Which is why what I did in the previous episode, making every single gnome up to builder do everything I want them to do. You only generally do that at the start of the game, just while you're getting set up, because the deeper you get into the game, you really want more specialist gnomes, really. And you want to assign a couple of individual gnomes to each workshop. And that's when you start getting your army built up, which, as you know, we're playing on peaceful, so we don't need to worry about an army. So I'm gonna leave their priorities as they are. And I think that is almost it for this episode. Right, just a few more things to do, like clean floor here. There we go. And watch them clean it up. Right, so now they've done that, oh, okay, how are they doing that? Oh, okay, I forgot to remove one of them. Okay, not to worry. Right, we want them to, oh, come on. This is the only annoying thing about the right-click menu that I have found. There we go. Stone, please. There we go. And there we go. Right, so they're doing that. Okay. The bone carver's done. That's done. That's done. Okay. So. Right, well, yeah, this is it. No. Yeah, no. Yeah, I will explain about housing and everything else in the next episode. So, thank you for watching, guys, and as always, if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe, share it with your friends and family, and I will see you soon, guys. Have fun!